You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dinny Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Yo, welcome to another awesome episode of Vigilantes Radio. I am your host, Denny Mussolini, and I just want to welcome all of you guys to another awesome episode, as I already said, right? Redundant, right? But anyway, there are over 32,000 of you guys on our phone lines, in the chat room, on the browser, Google Hangout, Skype, all of the plugins that we use to run this show. You guys are filling them up, and I appreciate that so much. We have a very special guest for tonight's interview, so you definitely want to stick around for that. And I just want to tell you that your future begins now. Like, what are you talking about, Deanie? Listen, today is a turning point in your life. The things you accomplish, the people you meet, the direction you set today will have consequences far into the future. One little bit of extra effort made today might change the rest of your life for the better. It would be a shame to miss the opportunity. So do all you can today and just a little bit more. Make that extra phone call. Look at that one additional report. Investigate that one additional possibility. Think of the difference it could make. Each day affects all the ones that come after it. And your actions and your thoughts and your decisions proceed as if today is the most crucial and critical day of your life, because it is. Take that from me, guys. Denny Mussolini. That is my word, and word is bond.
You're live in the mix. Let's get this started.
Yo, hello, and welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Music, or the book, or film, or even the business, where we dive into the minds of the people who create these marvelous things. It feels so good to be back with you guys once again. Big ups to my folks who are indigos, crystalline, or the starseeds, for my Vigilantes audience family, for my hooligans, and shout out to my people who are vegetarian or vegans. If you're in the struggle like me, we are averaging over 37,000 live listeners, and we've been at this for 5 solid years. I appreciate to all you guys who've been rocking with the kid on this journey, and we are still evolving, baby. It is all because of you, most definitely. We are the people who have dedicated their lives to music, spirituality, business, literature, art, films, and research in every aspect. And we want to allow you an opportunity to tell your story. Man, we've had celebrities on our show, from Grammy Award-winning artists, nominees, to actors, comedians, CEOs, technology revolutionaries, visual artists, from authors to professors, and vampires. Or people who think they're vampires. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. Come on our show and talk to me. So check it out to book your interview or to appear on my other show called Skeptics. Email me at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com, and that's V as in Victor. We hope to get the stories behind these unique people and give them a chance to tell their truth to us and the universe. That is Vigilantes Radio sole purpose. You know the number to dial, 701-801-9813. Share that number with your buddy right now and tell them to tune in to connect with us or our guests, or you can hop in the mix directly from our website, which is onlyonemediagroup.com. Right from the homepage, you can slap that go live button and you'll be here live in the mix and in the chat room with all of us. So feel free to shoot over some questions to ask our guests while they are here, but only as time permits. Sometimes my guests and I talk entirely too much. And as always, all episodes are available for free download, and you can grab them from either Spreaker.com/only one media group, iTunes, Player.fm, YouTube, any app from the Google Play or iTunes store, or over at our website. And that goes for every single episode that we've ever aired.
Well, today's interview is the Matt Massey interview, and again, I'm your host, Danny. What a gentleman, what a truly, truly pleasant person to be able to talk music with tonight. So hey, everybody, meet Matt Massey, and Matt Massey meet everybody else over here at the hooligan sector and vast array of supporters of Vigilantes Radio. I'm stoked to be able to share this with my audience. Seriously, this guy is extremely generous with his time and the answers. I'm sure he'll have a ton of amazing insight and awesomeness to contribute to your brainwave. I mean, for those that know their rock roots, which many of you out there know that I do, a little bitty witty, after years of being in an alternative rock duo, no longer the hero. Well, let's just say I was blown away to have this interview come across my desk one late evening a couple of weeks ago. So I knew I had good odds of running into another solid opinion and knowledgeable source of all things music once I realized that connection was there. True to his character and musicianship, Matt Massey certainly went on to deliver the goods in his latest release called Built. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome him to my podcast. So let's take a second or two at the beginning to welcome him and let the introduction begin. Hey, Matt Massey, you're now live in the midst with all of us. What's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
Definitely, man. So, how's the weather out in Texas right now, man?
You know what? It's going through its change. So it's been pretty pleasant, really.
Really?
We're dealing with 70-degree weather. Had a break in some of the rain. Of course, the rain here hasn't been as bad as it's been elsewhere, but
right on.
A little bit out of the ordinary for us to have so much of it. But it's been really nice.
Definitely. I was out in Grand Prairie for the entire summer, just about, in Texas, man, and I'm from Mississippi, so the weather there and the weather here are like two different worlds. We have the humidity here in Mississippi, but the dry weather out in Texas. But it was pleasant where I was at. Mississippi had kind of bipolar weather for the entire summer, and it just seemed to be the same out in Texas.
Oh yeah. It's been a little bit weird, but hey, can't do nothing about it. So.
Right on. Right, we can write Harp a letter, quit messing with the weather, guys.
Yeah, quit doing it, yeah.
All right, man. So, let's jump into like some theory, maybe. A lot of artists tend to start doing what they do in order to fill a void or a need or offer something entirely new to the world that hasn't been done yet. And others, we simply just draw from the inspiration of influence, pursue the dream in the same way that our heroes did. So, what or who do you listen to on your own time when you just cruise on a highway,
Yeah. Well, when I'm just kind of cruising and not really, looking for anything to look into too deep. It's usually the heavier rockers, honestly. I've been a big Seether and Chevelle fan for a long time. And there's a lot of guitar bass. Those aren't really guitar based bands. They're more of the post grunge type stuff as far as the rock stuff goes. But I'll switch it up and throw in some heavier guitar playing bands. You occasionally go back to Metallica, You know, I like the Alter Bridge guys, the stuff that they're doing. You know, and then, you know, sometimes I'll go back to the kind of where I started, which would be like the Jimi Hendrix or the Stevie Ray Vaughan, those types of things. So it's really a bit of a range, but mostly if I'm just, you know, putting something on to drive a little faster to, it's usually the upbeat, heavier rock stuff.
Yeah. Do like what you listen to factor into your music any kind of way?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, I think every artist, you know, throughout their, you know, cutting their teeth or learning to play, you know, a lot of, you know, who they learn, you know, songs they learned when they were, you know, learning to play, you know, as they develop, you know, more songs they learn, those all kind of, I think, you know, kind of melt down into what becomes your own stuff. You know, it kind of goes into a melting pot and comes out something different, you know, pulling from a lot of different influences. So, you know, I think that, you know, there's not one particular band or you know, artist that really I'd say I lean heavily toward as far as, you know, I don't ever say I want to sound like this person or that person. I always, you know, there'll be times when I'm listening to something a little bit more heavily and say, okay, well, their style is kind of what I'm liking right now. So you know, I'll try to maybe write something that's similar in style, but not try to emulate them too much, because, you know, I think that, you know, they're doing their thing. It's already out there. You know, I'm going to do my own thing.
Right on. Now, how hard is that though to like initially find yourself? Like this particular record, me and my guy, we were writing, and it's I think in hip hop it's easier to imitate and sound like someone else because it's almost one dimensional.
Okay.
But when you get into rock, it's a little harder because you can, you know, draw influence from your playing or your singing or the style you sing in or your range, stuff like that. So we were writing this particular record, and the entire summer I was just listening to Smashing Pumpkins because I was going through a breakup. So that seems to be the perfect music for that type of thing. If you want to be sad. Yeah, if you want to be sad and angry at the same time, listen to Smashing Pumpkins. So, so we wrote this song, right? Well, I wrote the song, and my partner, he wrote the music. And after a while, I began to listen. I was like, wait a minute, it sounds like Smashing Pumpkins. So how hard is that for you to, you know, go through your music, go through your lyrics, your style, your voice, your vocal range, and differentiate yourself between your influence and then your own sound?
Well, I do a lot of self-criticism. When you're doing your own stuff, and, you know, especially when you're recording your own stuff, you kind of have to be your own toughest critic. So you really have to, you know, I always, I mean, all throughout the writing and recording process, usually, you know, guitar riffs will come to me, you know, as I'm just running, you know, practicing guitar, you know, for an hour a night or whatever, and in between, you know, exercises or, you know, a riff or a chord progression will come to me. So, you know, I'll lay that down. It'll be, you know, in order to write lyrics over it, I've got it in the car playing over and over and over and over and over. So, I mean, it's listening back to it so much, and you start to go, okay, well, if you listen to it enough, you start to, you know, early on, like kind of like you did, you know, say, oh, well, this part kind of sounds like this, you know, or this particular artist, or, you know, and that sort of thing. And some of that, I think, is okay. It's okay, because it's hard not to let some of your influences come through in your music, entirely. Everybody's goal obviously is to sound completely original, but, you know, that's not always going to be feasible, I don't think. So I think, you know, you'll start to hear it a little bit, and like I said, I mean, and it's okay if somebody listens to it and goes, you know, I kind of hear this in this particular song, or I hear this artist,
right.
As long as it's not overwhelmingly, you know, taking over the entire song sounding like somebody else. If you've got a piece here or there that sounds like it, I think it's okay. But if you start listening to it, you know, if I'm listening to something, I'm going, you know what, that really sounds like this song by this artist, then I go, okay, well, can I work with this and change it enough to where that's not the case and still keep what I was going for? That's really the approach that I kind of take with it. It's listening to it over and over, through that, that initial process of getting the guitars, just a scratch of the guitars down to write lyrics to, and then when I start adding drums into it, bass, it's constantly listening to that song over and over. So that kind of helps to identify some of that stuff.
Right on. So you're going at this whole thing solo, no band,
Yeah, it's just me.
How long have you been playing, man?
I've been playing guitar, I'd say, I started guitar when I was 10 years old, or I got my first guitar when I was 10 years old. I didn't do much with it for a couple years, but I really got into it at, around 12 or 13. So it's been 20 good years playing guitar.
Nice.
And so it was, and that was, playing in bands and just doing guitar work, really. My dad's actually a drummer, a fantastic drummer, and
oh, wow.
When we played in groups together and things like that, so I was always kind of around that. So the drum stuff, drums being set up, you mess around on them, you play them, so you kind of learn how to do that. Bass, I play bass like a guitar player. A lot of bass players probably get mad at that, but that's how I play it. And the singing stuff, it came, much later. I was, playing in, a cover band, and it was something where I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try to sing, lead vocals on a few of the, maybe the heavier grunge stuff, Seven Mary 3.
Yeah, my kind of music.
Everlast, Cage the Elephant was in there, those types of things. And so, that was one of those things that I had to, really build my confidence in. But doing that in the cover band, just having a few songs at a time, it really helped with that.
Right.
So after doing that for a little while, it was like, okay, well, I'm going to forego the, the headaches of me not having really time to put together a band and keep the band and keep everybody happy and all that sort of stuff. All I got to worry about is myself. If I can do everything and, it's, at least tolerable to the listeners, then I'm going to give it a shot. So that's kind of just how it went.
Right on. So what happens when it's showtime? Are you going to hire backup players, or are you just going to let a record spin while you play the lead?
Yeah, I like to play with. I don't know how that would how I would do with having just a backing. I thought about it. I considered it. Having a backing track, me play the guitar parts and sing live. But I think just that would be too much of a change for me, I think, because, I'm used to having guys on stage. I'd hire a backing band, folks that I could interact with on stage, and give it that full, because I like the full band experience type thing. When you see a group of guys up there, playing good songs and having a good time, I think that's more fun.
Definitely. I totally agree, man. Except that, we do the exact opposite. Me and my partner, it's just me and him. There is no band. Showtime, we just let the record spin and we play the leads. And then when it's music video time, you'll see a full band. It's like, wait a minute. When did you guys add members? But we really did.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's almost like it's easy because, like I said, I really considered doing it that way. You don't see a lot of rock acts doing it that way.
No, you don't.
And I don't know why. I guess it's what people are used. So it would look, it may look a little different from what people are used to, which it may be a good thing. To do it that way. And also you've got the, if you start to think about if you start to weigh in all the factors of it, you've got, you'd be up there with three other, if it was me and three other guys, then you've got to worry, about all the equipment, you got to worry about the guys performing, and hoping that, you get guys up there, obviously, that you trust to play it well, but anything can happen, when you start playing live like that. So there's something to be said for the consistency of playing with, with the record with, the main parts, cut out so you can do it live, and get that feel.
Yep. So I was stalking your Facebook page, your music page, and I see you drop singles, but I'm not sure if you're actually working on an EP or LP. Are you?
No. So I released a full album in March of this year, called Dear Today, and from there, about 3 months later in June, I released a single, You Won't Find Me, and then now here in October released the single, the most recent one, Built. I kind of decided after the record release, because the record writing and recording process and doing a full record release was, not only was it super time consuming, again, not having any other, just doing it all myself type thing, there was a lot of edits to the songs themselves as I went through that process. So, I'd write, one song, go, okay, this one's done, I think. It's good. And then, write some more songs, record some more songs. Well, now that first one isn't necessarily stacking up to these other ones that I've written, and then having to go back and make edits there. Or, I'll have learned a trick in the recording process, because that's something that I'm still, learning. I'm no, professional recording engineer or anything like that. I'm just kind of been, teaching myself how to do it. So that whole process was a headache for me just because of the way I work. So I decided after that release, I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to, instead of working on, 10 songs at a time, I'm going to, pick a riff that I've written that I really like, and I think I can, develop into a good song. I'm going to only work on this one song, nothing else. Only work on the lyrics for this song, get that recorded, and I'm just going to release singles. This way, it's not, it's also something, I looked at it as, number one, that's easier for me with the way that I'm working right now. And number two, as a newer artist, I think it's a good thing to to continuously have new stuff coming out. You don't, it wasn't going to be a one and, you're going to wait and we'll maybe see you in a year and I'll have more music for you. Hope you like it, type of thing. So, so those are just some of the, the factors that went into the decision to just go with singles for the time being. I think I'm trying my best to get a couple more out by the end of the year. That was my goal after I put Built out. I was like, you know what, I'm going to try to get 2 more in this year, and then start doing the live show thing, and booking shows and what have you, starting in 2019.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what kind of story are you telling with your single releases? I mean, are they tying into each other, or?
No, not really. They're all independent of each other, honestly. I was kind of inspired a little bit by I was watching something on Prince, and I didn't really know a whole lot about him. I knew he's a great musician and things like that, but there was a gentleman there who was telling a story about how he had so much material. He wanted to he was wanting to do where he would go in, he would write something because he's feeling it, whatever he's writing about, he's feeling those emotions at that time. He wanted to get in, record it, and release it. So I thought, and the reason that he couldn't do that is because, as a lot of people know, he had so many issues with his, record labels and things like that.
Right on.
The big battle and things like that with them. So I was like, well, as an independent artist, you don't have that aspect of it. You can release however much you want, whenever you want, and do it that way, the way he was wanting to do it, which I thought was kind of a cool thing. I thought that was, it was like, yeah, I mean, you may start recording an album that may take a year, so the first song you wrote at the beginning of that process, you may not be feeling that way anymore when that album gets released, So I thought that was kind of a cool approach. So it's more in the now, I guess, with being able to do that. So, You Won't Find Me, that single release, there was things I was thinking about or going through at the time for that. Same thing with Built. Something came into my head to inspire the words for that one. And I was able to write that song and get it recorded within, You Won't Find Me came together really quick, a couple weeks, and it was done. And then Built took a little bit longer, but it was done in a couple months. But, because it's basically, well, the way things have been going, the way things have kind of been coming to me, which I've been fortunate not to hit too much writer's block. It's been, release a song and start work on the next one because I've got ideas to put down, so.
Right. Okay. So give us some insight into the experience with your song Built. Like all the details, man, the ins and the outs, the writing, the recording, the production. Give us everything, man.
Everything. I mean, musically with it, like I said, that's kind of where it starts. It'll all start with the guitar riffs, It was something where, I was like, okay, I want to put something out that's a little bit more high energy, a little bit faster. A lot of the songs, I mean, I don't have any real slow songs to say, but they're all kind of medium tempo. They've got, kind of a groove, type thing. Some are a little bit quicker than others. But I was like, I really want one that's driving and it's got maybe some punk rock elements to it, tossed in with a little bit of, a little bit of metal style, and then I start throwing in blues style in the solos and stuff. But that's kind of how I initially started. Is like I want a driving song, just a real good up tempo rock song. So I got the basic riffs for that, and like I said, what I do is I'll get the basic part of it, the riffs down. It's usually okay, I know I'm going to do this for the chorus. I know I'm going to do this for the verse as far as the guitar parts go. And I'll have a roundabout idea of how many times, I'll be playing those. And then that'll go in, to the Pro Tools system as a scratch track, where it, I email it to myself, and go listen to it in the car, driving to work, driving wherever. To start getting the lyrics down. And the lyrics, I try to let those, as much as I can, at least starting out, I try to let those kind of come to me. Yeah. So, I take notes in my phone. So, I've got a folder that is just songs, or song ideas, just, little phrases, here and there that, may pop into my head, or, a concept or a situation that I think is interesting. We'll kind of how you get those random thoughts, out of nowhere. And so I make sure that I get it down. So, I'll scroll through, see, if I've written anything down or noted anything, and see if, okay, well, will this piece work? Will that piece work? Maybe I can build on this a little bit for this song. That's always kind of how I take a look at it when I'm, getting started. And again, that song is, constantly playing anytime I'm driving.
Right on.
And then, with this one, it kind of started out where I had this idea of, I was thinking, a lot of people talk about relationships and stuff like that, and I was thinking, a lot of the the really solid relationships, that I've had with people, a lot of times it comes from similar, I'll say, hardships in their life. So, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be anything big. Both come from divorced parents, or
right.
Divorced when you were a kid, or something like that. And so it was like, so I thought of the idea of having matching scars, which is a line in the song. So, that idea is kind of what I built the song on. Is okay, well, people make a connection out of hardship and growing from those hardships, and recognizing that you are who you are because you went through that before, for better or worse. Right. So that's kind of where it went from there. So the lyrics in the song, that you're built with broken pieces. So but that's okay. Essentially, these pieces they're not perfect, and nobody has, very few people, the fortunate ones, I guess, have not gone through any kind of hardship. Like I said, I mean, big or small. So I mean, everybody's gone through something. So it's basically saying that, hey, it's okay that happened, and it made you who you are, made you stronger. So those pieces might be broken, but they're still put together all right. So that's kind of, I thought that was a really, I thought that was a good topic for a song. I thought that, this is kind of how I'm feeling. I think a lot of people will relate to it, so I think that would make a good song, because, you're writing songs to connect with people, saying, hey, I've got this going on, maybe you've got this going on too, type thing. So, I mean, that's how the lyrics came about. I decided on this one to just do one verse, which was a little bit different. So it really was, I wrote the verse out, and I was like, you know what, I don't think I'm going to continue on, do the typical, verse, chorus type thing. I said, I'm going to do one verse, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw 2 guitar solos in there because I like guitar solos.
Right.
And I'm going to challenge myself to find ways to change up the chorus lines, which, you'll notice in the song there's kind of breaks, and there's some halftime playing. Even though the song's real quick and kind of choppy, there's some parts that kind of slow down. And it's the guitar solos themselves vary up a little bit, and so I was like, okay, well, I'll switch the choruses up so they're not so repetitive. So I was like, that's kind of the basic that I'm going to go for this. I'm going to switch it up a little bit, and then once I got that down, kind of the idea of what I want to do. It all goes straight into recording. So anything that I hadn't laid down as like I've got to get this idea recorded so I don't forget it type thing. I usually will try to keep it all in my head, which can be challenging. But I started laying down drums, and I'm like, okay, well, let's get all these different parts down, and I really like good drums. Like I said, my dad's a drummer, so I've always paid attention to drums and good drums and things like that. So I tried to make the drums do justice to the song, with it being a little bit more up tempo. And then you've got your bass layers, you've got all your guitar layers. I tried a few different. I always am picking up different techniques recording wise. So I tried layering a little bit different. On previous tracks, one of the different things I did for this one was, previously I'd do, just a straight up the middle bass line. Nothing panned, nothing duplicated. It was just, one file EQ'd or compressed, until I got to the sound okay. For this one, I actually did, a left and right bass track. So two bass tracks that I split, which is a little bit different for me. I'm not sure how common that is. and other types of recordings. So I thought it gave it a little bit more beef, a little more meat to the song. So and then it was, just from there it was making sure that the impactful parts or the heavy parts got what they needed as far as the mix goes and the mastering and things like that. And I think generally with all of my songs, I will probably email myself about 10 to 15 different final versions of it. And I'm like, well, I'll get it and listen to it in the car. Like I said, it's all the way through the process, but especially at that point, the one that's going to, be released, I'm going, okay, well, the hi-hat's a little bit too high on this one. I'll go back and make adjustments, or, I can't hear, this guitar part, or, these vocals dip down too much, or, those types of things. So it's all, again, going back to that, being super critical of yourself and the song and the recording and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, that more or less is kind of how this one went.
Definitely. Man, those car speakers will tell you everything you need to know about your mix.
I'll tell you that, headphones, yeah.
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 But
yeah, they will.
who else is helping you, like, with the listening process? Because, I know your ears are probably getting tired listening to the same track 100 times a day.
They do, and I've got to take breaks, honestly. A day or two, I mean, it'll go for, an entire day, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta stop and step away, and I really dislike when I have to do that, because I'm like, I want to get done, I'm this close or whatever, but of course I run the risk of messing the whole thing up by making my ears too tired. But
right on.
I try to get feedback from my family here in the house. I'll ask my wife. Her musical tastes are different than mine. She likes a wide range. She likes everything. So she's into all styles. So I'll ask her about something specific on it. But I'll also just say, what do you think of this one? Do you think it's, I always ask, do you think it's catchy? Because that, a lot of people shy away from that, but I think that's super important. There's nothing wrong with a catchy rock song, I don't think.
Oh no, nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah.
And then I'll ask my teenage daughter, hey, what do you think? So I'll try to get their feedback and see what they're thinking. Then, my musician friends too, like I said, my dad's a drummer, and, I've got folks that I play in the cover band with, and I'll ask their opinion and see what they think of it. See if they've got any suggestions, something they hear that I don't hear. Like I said, a lot of it is, because I'm giving them rough copies of it, or having them listen on my, just on my phone, hey, what do you think of this? They can't really dive too deep into it, but, they can give me, well, this, I like this part, or I don't like this part type of feedback, which, every little bit is helpful, because, my mind, I'm a overthinker for a lot of things, so I'll take the smallest thing that somebody gives me and go, okay, well, and then I'll start running with it.
Right on. Essentially, though, man, is there a piece of music that you can point to that you've already made that's 100% the life of Matt-Massey?
I don't think so.
You don't think so yet? What? No way. I noticed you used to have long hair, man. Almost back in January. What happened, man?
Yeah, it was.
The corporate America get you?
Yeah, I can't really walking around with, being in Texas, you can't have a bunch of hippies walking around here. But no, it was one of those things. I had it for a couple years, and I was like, what, I'm getting kind of tired of this. And of course, as soon as I cut it, I want it back.
Right.
So, because it was, and this is kind of it's common with musicians. You don't want to be, like everybody else, So it's just one of those, one of the things. It's like, well, walking around, the area that I live in, you've got your short haircuts and your, those types of things. So I was like, I'm going to look a little different for a while. So, I miss it, for sure. The long hair.
Oh, yeah, man. I had dreadlocks not too long ago, and then I cut them all off, and now I can't grow any hair. Like, none man. Whatsoever.
Right.
So I went from mop head to now I'm milk dud. So
right.
Yeah, how's that?
Oh man. Yeah. Do you think it would have been like if you hadn't cut them off, you think it would have started falling out on its own or something?
No, man. I wasn't experiencing any hair loss at that time.
Nothing. Yeah.
Nothing.
That's weird.
I think it was all the heartbreaking booze, man.
That'll do it. Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. Park benches, booze, heartbreak. Story of my life.
Yeah.
Good music, great music though.
Yeah. That's I guess that's the plus side of all that.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, Matt, if the release of Built does anything at all in terms of how you might feel about confirming your place in music, that you're right where you belong kind of thing. It always takes a while before any of us really feel like we're not going on to something else right away, that we're established, that we're safe and secure in what we're doing, and that we're positive that we're in the space in the music industry where we are, finding our momentum, building, and then you consider all things like work, music, life, all that stuff has to really combine in just the right way in order for that security to really exist. So I suppose, how secure does the music dream feel these days for you?
I know the dream will always be there.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that part's secure. I think, musicians and really everybody, or at least a lot of people, they're always looking to expand or go on to the next thing. There's always somewhere to go. So to say, with this song coming out, like I said, I'm still consider myself a new artist, solo artist. So, there's lots of places still to go, I think. And I can't really say, when I hit this milestone, it's going to be, I'll feel pretty good, or, something like that. It's just going to be, I hit something cool, and now there's something cooler beyond that, that I need to go for. So, getting the secure and feeling safe, and like I don't, like I'm just, I don't know. I'm sure some folks, they get to a point and they go, you know what, this is where I'm going to be, and that's good. And I hope that someday I can get to that spot, but right now I don't think it's anywhere close.
Right on. All right, guys, after the music break, it'll be time for our usual tradition. It is called the Hot Seat, and our fans love this part of the segment, of course, along with the actual interview, but the audience get a chance to hear Matt-Massey provide us with some vocals. Maybe he does poetry, inspirational speeches, written work, spoken word, freestyle raps, jokes, stories, or maybe even live instruments from our special guests. You never know what these creative minds and vessels will produce in the spotlight. And tonight, we'll find out if Matt-Massey has what it takes to be put on the spot, a test of his true artistry, and maybe even some hidden talents. But for right now, we have Matt-Massey with this song Built, and we'll be right back.
I'm built with broken pieces. I'm built up like you. I'm built with broken pieces, just like brand new. Well, Smashing scars, what's yours or mine? Remember the past, what we did each month. That's over and done, we're standing cold. I'm built with broken pieces. I'm built up like you. I'm built with broken pieces, just like brand new. I'm built with broken pieces. Built with broken pieces, just like brand new. Oh yeah. I'm built with broken pieces. I'm built up like you. I'm built with broken pieces, just like brand new. Oh yeah, I'm built with broken pieces.
All right. We are back. That was Matt-Massey with his song, Built. Like, right from the very beginning, his voice just captured you. Having a little thing going on with my tongue here. Captures you, right? And pulls you right into the record. It commands your attention from the get-go. Wow. Such powerful vocals. Dope lyrics. The structure is perfect. I absolutely love this joint. Man, great song. Great song. All right, guys. So, life, you got to handle that thing with care, baby. Successful people care. To achieve any kind of fulfillment, guys, you got to care. You must care. Care enough to expect the best for yourself, to expect the best of others. Care enough to challenge and to love, to give, and to create. When you care enough to take action, you make a difference in your own life and the lives of others and in the world. Caring is not easy. It takes effort, and it often hurts because caring is more than just a thought or a feeling. True caring is doing. It is vital to those you care about and to yourself. The more you care, the more real joy your life will have. When you truly care, giving up is not an option. When you care, you won't allow yourself to become distracted. When you care, you are powerful and effective. When you care, life truly matters. So look around you at the beauty and the abundance of life. Every day, remember to care. Take that from me, Denny Mussolini. That is my word, and word is bond. But for right now, guys, the moment you're all waiting for, right? Let's bring Matt-Massey and bring him back into our live production here and in our hot seat. Hey, what are you going to perform for us, Matt?
Whatever you guys want to hear, I suppose. What are you in the mood for this evening?
Oh man, it's Diller's Choice.
Diller's Choice, all right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll I can get some guitar going for you guys.
Nice.
Let's see here. You hear that all right?
Yes, sir.
That coming through okay?
Oh, yeah.
All righty. I mentioned earlier some of the earlier influences, kind of when I got started, and it was kind of a I don't know. I guess I felt like the kind of the black sheep amongst my friends as far as the music I was into. You hear people talk nowadays how they were born in the wrong decade, or that's how they refer to it now. So I guess that's kind of how it was for me, because I'd started listening to Hendrix, and like I said, being from Texas, you always hear the classic guys from Texas. So you hear, Stevie Ray Vaughan was a big one, ZZ Top, Pantera thrown in there. But there was a time where I really got into it was the Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff. I mean, I was a teenager learning Stevie Ray Vaughan. This was in the in the 90s. So kids my age were like, who? They didn't really know. They didn't know. I think my first concert was B.B. King when I was a freshman in high school. So it was kind of a weird thing to be into, at least around where I was and all that sort of stuff. So, a lot of the times when I play, and you may have heard some of that in the built solos, some of the blues coming through, even though it's a hard rock song, but that's what I played a lot of. So,
right.
Just to give you all a little bit of that, so you can kind of hear some of the blues underlines. I'll do it here with this kind of this clean guitar tone, which is a little bit of a change from that stuff. So here you go.
All right.
12-bar blues for you guys. Hopefully that's all right.
Oh, yeah, man. That was dope. Dope. Very talented. Very talented.
Thank you.
Definitely, man. So let everybody know where they can connect with you online.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm at the kind of standard places. So, there is, of course, my website, which is matt-massey.com. That's going to be the same as all of my social media handles. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all at the matt-massey. All my music is available pretty much wherever you get it. So, it's on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube. It's pretty much everywhere. Deezer, if people are using Deezer, which I think is picking up, which is great. So yeah, I mean it's out everywhere. So if anyone feels so inclined, of course, reach out. And we'll connect there as well.
Definitely. And guys, we have those links in the description of this episode, so all you have to do is click the link and it'll take you right to it. I typed everything out nice, neat, and pretty, so you don't have to worry about anything. I didn't miss any letters. It's all right there. Click the links. You can find that in the show notes wherever you go, iTunes, and we're on iHeartRadio right now, so we appreciate iHeartRadio for allowing us a platform. Took us a long time to get here, but we're here. We've made it. Now we're super happy. We can go to sleep and drink milkshakes. Spotify as well. Catch us on Spotify and all your favorite podcast apps. It was my absolute pleasure, Matt, to have you as a guest on our show. You're definitely a killer at the guitar, and you got great vocals, great song arrangement, and I have to keep my eye out on you, the one-man band, and you're absolutely killing it, bro.
Oh, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me and for the kind words. You know, hopefully we can get together and do it again. It's been great.
Next time, bro. Next time. Peace.
All right.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab that from either Spreaker.com/only1mediagroup, iTunes, YouTube, any app that's on a Google Play or iTunes store, or our website. And that goes from every single episode that we've ever aired. If you'd like to request music or a particular guest or send something for me to play, email it to vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. If it's music, please label it by artist and title. Here's my disclaimer. We are genre free, we do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay but facts alone. And actually, you can scratch all of that because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, so deal with it. Nah, just kidding. On behalf of myself, Danny Mussolini, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word, because sharing is caring. We stepped up our game just for you guys and our guests to make sure that you have the best experience here on our show. Be sure to connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, as well as Spreaker. We always follow back. That is the #1 rule. Okay, well, just remember to be yourself and be absolutely great at just doing that. Avoid being too comfortable, because you're messing with your potential when you do that. Peace, and have a good night.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. This is a 7th Sign Regime Rebirth Worldwide Syndicate exclusive.